If you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you want to improve your forehand, and that's a smart decision because I've got tips that are gonna help you. And in today's lesson, I'm gonna break down all the steps on how you can improve your forehand. You're gonna get some awesome information today. And the key is to learn the information and then go out and apply it. So whether you can get on a court or you go to your driveway or you're in the comfort of your own home, use these tips to upgrade your forehand. To get crazy power on the forehand, the first step is to create space. Most players, when they prepare, they're too close to the ball like this. They have what we call T-Rex arms. Their elbow is tucked in and they can't get any power. So we want to create that space with the first move. So you're going to create a lot of space like this. It should look like this when you're getting ready to swing. Create a lot of space instead of being tucked in like this. All right, that's the first concept that I want you to absolutely exaggerate. The next one is to create more turn or coil. So a lot of players, when they prepare, they might put this hand out like this. You can see there's not a lot of coil, there's not a lot of turn. They might go like this, there's not a lot of turn with this arm bent. We really want to get these arms to pull across the body like this. Very, very important to have this type of position with the first move. Most players aren't doing this. You can see the coil and the turn. You can see how my hips are actually facing the net more and my off arm is pulled across. That's how we create that separation or that coil. Instead of turning sideways and having to rotate in it into the ball, we get that coil and that turn with the upper body against the lower body. The next concept I want to get into is extension, and this is related to the previous two where we talked about space and the turn and the coil. We are now going to focus on getting that extension, and you want to focus on creating that space with the first move, creating some space when you make contact, and really swinging up and around to create all that space, okay, to get that extension. So whether you swing and finish over the shoulder or whether you come more across your body like this, you want to feel like your arm is reaching out and around. Again, most players, when they get tight, they're constricted in here, there's no extension. You will not get the power and the depth that you want if you're not extending, okay? Very, very important. I'll give you a little demo here. So when I swing, notice my swing. You see how far out and around my racket goes? I'm just throwing my hand out to the target. Very, very important concept. The next one we want to talk about is relaxation. To get crazy power, you've got to be able to relax your hand. This is a big tip I learned from one of my coaches that helped me break the top 100 in the world. Thank you, Joseph O'Dwyer. It was all about relaxing the hand. And at the end of the swing, a lot of times I actually focus on wiggling the fingers or taking the racket out of the hand. Super, super important to get this, to make sure that you relax the hand and you just have a soft hand when you swing. Sure, you're going to grip at contact a little bit, but you want to make sure at the end that you're totally relaxed. So I'll show you what that looks like. So at the end of the swing, I actually take the racket out of the hand. And that reminds me to reduce the tension in my hand. Most players are so darn tight on the racket, you're gonna lose power. You may be struggling with that. The final concept, before we leave you today, is using the ground appropriately. Whether you step in or whether you go semi-open, you wanna push off the ground at the right time to swing. If you step in, you're gonna push off as you swing. You don't need an excessive knee bend, but you do need to push off the ground appropriately. So if I step in, watch how I use the ground. So there's a slight bend, and then I raise up. You don't want to raise up too early, but you want to feel a push off the ground as you do that. We are guilty of hitting the ball and looking up to see where the ball is going to go. And if you really want to be fixated on the moment and really want to be able to make solid contact more often, you've got to keep your head at the contact point longer. So your eyes and your head are going to stay here well after the ball is gone. Roger Federer is the best in the world, maybe the best of all time. We really started to see that with him more than probably any other player in any other era. He does a great job of keeping his head here on his forehand and not looking up. One of the cues that I like to give players is really focus on keeping your head at contact until the ball travels over the net. Many of you are going to struggle with this because you want to hit the ball and you want to look, okay? So I'm just going to grab a ball here, two balls actually,
and show a couple of examples. So the first example that I see a lot with players is when they go to hit the ball, they pull their head off. You can just practice. Keep your eyes down on the court much longer than you think. It's the finish. It's all about the finish, because most club players, if they're mishitting the ball or if they don't have the proper distance from the ball, they're finishing like this, or they're finishing like this, or they're finishing like this. Again, they're too close to the ball and they're not getting that extension. They're not getting that finish away from the body. So what I would practice, instead of swinging, finishing in here close to the body, I see people even on their forehands, it's almost like they're strangling themselves. I know Daniel Medvedev now, he's burst on the scene, he swings like this. I wouldn't necessarily teach that to players because I want them to feel more space at the end of the shot. So when you swing, look at how much space I have there. Look at where my hand is when it catches the racket out here. I'm not straight out here, by the way. I'm bent and relaxed, but I've created space. It started with my first move, and then it finished with my finish out here. You really have to exaggerate this if you want to break these habits. The finish is huge on creating the right amount of distance. So how cool is that? The ball is coming to you, and you want to work on proper distance to the ball, and all you have to do is focus on having a great finish, because when you have that picture in your mind of how you want to finish, even on the backhand, you can finish here on the backhand. Look at the space at the end. Look at the relaxation here. I'm away from my body, okay? I'm not in tight, okay? You get these finishes right. You have that picture in your mind of how you want it to be. Your body will start to find the right amount of distance that's necessary to play great tennis. Now, the problem that I see is that a lot of players have the ball come to them, they come out of their split step, and they just step and hit, right? That's what we've been taught, step into the ball, step and hit. Now, that ends up actually messing up your rhythm and your timing if you don't do that correctly. Now, if the ball is coming pretty slow to you, not too fast, you're not rushed, you have time, but it's also not short where you're going to attack it. What you want to do is practice rhythm with your footwork. And so what this looks like is what I call the step, shuffle, hit. You'll come out of your split, and then you're going to take a step, you're going to shuffle, and then you're going to hit in rhythm. It's all one movement. Now, this is going to fix that problem of just seeing the ball and stepping and hitting. You've probably seen that with rec players before. The ball comes, they step, they hit. Especially when the ball is in front of them, they step and reach. So doing this little tiny step first, step, shuffle, hit, that creates a lot of momentum, and it enables you to use the ground for power. So let's take a look at that right now.
Well, I absolutely love making this video for you today, this compilation of how you can take your forehand to the next level and dominate your opponents. Now, before you go today, I've got something very special for you. I've put together a series of lessons, 21 lessons, in fact, valued at $567. It's absolutely free today. No credit card required. You can get access to a free membership in our membership portal and in our Tennis Evolution app. So click the link in the description below or somewhere in this video to pick up our free membership today. And I'm really excited to help you out. Thanks.